Moms take care of some of the most important people in this world, but who's taking care of our moms? How about a little self-care for moms today at Live on Purpose TV? What does Dr. Paul know about self-care for moms? Well, I can talk psychology all day long, but I brought in an expert mom today. This is Christy Gardner. Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Christy is an amazing author. She has written You Are the Mother Your Children Need, which we have featured in another episode. She wrote Holy as You Are. Both of these are just therapeutic works that I think every mom should read.
Thanks. I agree. And I can only say that because I really feel like I was the messenger on these books. I don't feel like it's my message. I feel like it's a message that I just got to tell everybody.
By virtue of being a mom and being in the trenches and going through things that most mothers experience at some level.
Yes.
Which is why you're here. Can you help us out with self-care?
So today we are talking about a super important concept that sometimes as moms we can call selfish. Yeah, so the first thing I want to dispel for you, the first myth, is that taking care of yourself is selfish.
Right.
It is not. It is not. And the thing is, we know this for our girlfriends and for our own moms and for our sisters.
Right.
But for whatever reason, we don't give ourselves permission to take care of ourselves. Yeah, and when we take time or when we need to find quiet, we call that selfishness, and it is not.
I have talked about this before in other episodes, Christy, about, well, the example that comes to my mind always is being on an airplane, and when the oxygen masks come down and you're supposed to put your own mask on first, right? Because if you're out cold in the aisle, you're just in the way.
Right.
You're part of the problem now.
If there is no water in your well, how can you water everybody else? You can't.
Right.
You can't. So I want to give your listeners, your viewers, some tips on how to incorporate self-care into their lives.
That would be great. Okay. Let's go there.
So the first tip that I have for you is find things that you really like for self-care. Maybe it's a bubble bath. Maybe it's reading a great book. And make a basket for yourself of things that you go to for self-care.
A basket?
Yeah, make a basket. So in my basket, I have my favorite chocolate. Now, I'm not going to eat the entire thing, but I'm going to have a piece of really great chocolate. I deserve to have a piece of really great chocolate. Yeah. And I'm going to put in my favorite bath salts, and I'm going to take a bath, and I'm going to do the things that care for myself. This way, when you have something already ready and you find that moment of overwhelm, you immediately know where to go.
So the idea of the basket is you've got your emergency kit.
Yes, because sometimes we call things self-care and really it's just numbing.
Oh, good point.
So you're in the middle of an intense mothering situation. It has been a long day. The oldest told you about a science project that was due tomorrow. And the youngest is teething. And all the kids in between are just
fighting with each other.
And you are spent and you need a little self-care.
Yeah.
What do? We go to our phones and scroll and scroll and scroll. And we sit on our couch and scroll, and it is not doing anything for our self-care. All it's doing is numbing our brain cells for pure survival.
Can I add another, maybe more serious example of that?
Yes, please.
As a psychologist, you can't shock me. And I used to actually do parental fitness evaluations for the courts. Sometimes this numbing gets into alcohol or substance abuse. And it's not that those things are great ideas and a good way to take care of yourself. You're just trying to numb yourself from all of the pressures or the hassles or the feelings that can be so overwhelming as a mom.
Right.
So you mentioned scrolling on the phone, which I think is a much more common place where we go, but there are other forms of self-medication that can be extremely destructive.
Yeah, I'll tell you one for me, binge eating.
Eating is another great example.
Yeah, where I just open a bag of Doritos. They're my favorite. And the next thing you know, the whole bag is gone. That isn't intentional eating. That's numbing behavior because I'm trying to cope with what's going on inside.
May I point something out?
Yes.
You mentioned the basket.
Yes.
In that basket is your favorite chocolate.
Absolutely, because I don't think depriving ourselves of things that care for ourselves is what we do. That's going to the opposite extreme.
Here's what I noticed about that, Christy. If you are intentional,
yes,
and you've planned it, and this is part of your emergency kit, that's different from binge eating.
Exactly.
And it would be easy to just feeling overwhelmed, you just go to the store and buy 10 of your favorite candy bars and drown yourself in chocolate.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about having an intentional approach where you take care of yourself.
Yeah, I'll borrow
that's
a phrase.
Different.
We're living on purpose.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So for your self-care, live on purpose. Be intentional with what you're doing. And don't scroll, don't numb, don't eat the whole bag of Doritos. Go to the basket that is beautiful aesthetically, that you've created something to care for yourself.
I like that image.
Yes.
You got some other ideas for us
too?
too?
Of course.
Of course you do.
Yes. Okay, so we need to know what feeds our spirits, and then we need to do that on a regular basis. So if you love nature, make time for you to be in nature, and I want you to schedule that time as just as valid as you would schedule any other thing on your calendar.
Like an appointment with the pediatrician, for example.
Exactly. You would never miss that because then it would take 4 more months to get back into the doctor. Well, what if it would take 4 more months for your mental state to get back to a good place if you don't take time for self-care?
I know one of the barriers to this, Christy, because I know a lot of parents and I've worked in the industry for so long. We sometimes feel that it's an imposition on other people to have them help take care of our kids while we're taking care of ourselves.
Exactly. Yes.
Or you have to hire someone like a babysitter to watch the kiddos while you go off. So this is money well spent. And you have to be able to trust some people to do that.
Yes.
Obviously, you're not just going to pull someone off the street and say, hey, can you watch my kids?
Exactly.
You're going to be judicious about that. But the hump of actually trusting someone else to handle those important duties with your kids puts you in a better position as a parent to show up in a better way. As you talk about feeding your soul, getting involved with those things that light you up, has you showing up better for your kids.
Yes.
Would you share what your daughters told you after you got back into theater?
Yes, I will. For a long time, I didn't do theater because I put myself on the back burner.
Which is something
self-care.
you love and you've done.
Yeah, and it made me me.
Right.
And so after over 12 years, I decided to try to put it back into my life. And I took my kids with me. And something my daughter said one day as we were driving home from a rehearsal, Mom, we like you at the play. You're so fun at the play. And suddenly they saw this new side of me. But if I had told myself that going back to theater was selfish, which is what I told myself for over a decade.
You'd already been over that script.
I was losing myself and I wasn't able to be the mother that my children needed. I wasn't able to show up in the right way for my family.
Right.
But I feel that I can speak to what you were talking about trusting other people with our children. And that's why it's so important to create a tribe for yourself. We live in this community and in this culture where it's hard. It's hard to make one-on-one connections, especially with cargo so precious as our children.
Right.
We're just going to allow someone else to take care of our kids, but we really, really need to create a tribe. So you've got to be brave and go out there and make those connections with people. You should never take your children to the dentist and set them on your tummy while you get your teeth cleaned. We should have a tribe. I've done that. My mother does not live
You're not
close.
making this up.
I'm not making this up.
Right.
I've been there, but I want women to feel empowered to go into their communities and make connections because you cannot do this alone.
Right. I'm thinking of that old saying that it takes a village to raise a child.
It does.
And it's okay for you to use that village, to use that tribe
For your
to assist
self-care,
you.
not just for dentist appointments, but sometimes I'll ask for help so that I can go to a movie.
And you know what? If you're feeling a little off about that, then offer some help too, and then you'll feel better about it.
It's got to be a give and take
Reciprocal
situation.
thing.
Yes, and then you'll feel so happy knowing that you watching these other children is allowing your friend to get some self-care.
Right.
Yeah.
Christy, any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
Yeah, I just want to leave women with the message that you are enough for your life, that you are the mother your children need, and that you need to treat yourself like you are worth every moment of self-care that you take, because you are.
That was a good place to end it. Big thank you to Christy Gardner. You can find her books on Amazon. And I would highly recommend that you share this episode with someone else that you think could use a little self-care. We'll be bringing more content every day to this channel, so please make sure that you're subscribed, and I'll see you tomorrow.